What's up? Zeros here, and today I'm going to be doing some power rankings for the UCL, or the Unlock Celebration League. Now, this is a pretty interesting league. The rules are pretty typical of a normal draft, the one exception being that they do allow Z moves. And it's also fairly interesting that they're playing in NatDex DLC 2 Legacy. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, while Z moves are allowed, there's a ban on omni-boosting Z moves. Okay, so the thing that makes this league interesting is that there's 9 teams, but there's a team draft. So each of the 9 teams has 3 people in it. 3 people drafted, 3 people can consult with each other before every game, build with each other. So there's going to be 8 games. 2 people play 3 games, 1 person plays 2 games. So let's just jump right into these teams. Alright, the first one that we're going to talk about is the Satch Superior. So this team looks like Psychic Spam, but with the wrong terrain setter. I looked it up, and Indeedee and Tapu Lele are still available. So my suggestion for this team is maybe to pick one of those up. I would suggest Lele just because it's such a good Pokemon, and I can't believe it went undrafted. But nothing here really benefits from electric terrain. Even Rotom Fan, the only electric type on this team, it has Levitate. It's a flying type, toss an air balloon on it. It's not touching the electric terrain. It's not going to get that boost. So there's some really good psychic abusers here, but no psychic terrain. I would suggest trying to get that. Also, there's an okay Trick Room core here with Reuniclus and Arctovish. I think that can do a little bit of work. Zoroark is really interesting along with Silvally. They can play some tricky games. Just patching up some holes with Silvally, I think it's a really good Pokemon for draft. Zoroark can transform into other mons on the team. I'm not exactly sure what you would want to transform into maybe transform into a Psychic type to get your opponent to hit you with Dark moves. But you have to be careful who you're transforming into, because things like Intimidate, things like Electric Surge, if you're transforming into Tapu Koko and Electric Surge doesn't go up, they're going to know you're Zoroark. It's going to be pretty obvious. So, threat alert on this team is Mega Medicham. This thing hits super hard. Just be careful about missing some of your attacks. What does this team get 6-0'd by, though? This team would be absolutely destroyed by Alolan Grimer. That's right, throwing a Guaf Berry on there. Gluttony, that thing's never dying. It'll live a hit from anything on this team. You better bring a Silvally Ground if you're facing an Alolan Grimer. Grade for this team, I give a B-. I think it needs some work. Next team are the PogChamp Pupitars. Oh, I completely forgot. Go back to this team. I gave all the teams team names. This team I name Almost Psychic Spam. Back to this one. This team I call Intimidating. You have Mega Mawile. You have Arcanine. You have Hitmontop. You have Landorus Therian. All I'm saying is expect to face some Adrenaline Orb and some special attackers. Now, I really like the fact that you're going to be facing all these special attackers because they're not going to want to get intimidated. And you have Sylveon and Slowking, which are very good on this team as being really thick special walls. Dragapult is pretty good in draft just because it has so much speed for you to play with. You can easily outspeed other Pokemon on the team and have lots of EVs left over to put into bulk. And for that reason, I really think Dragapult works best as a support mon. Maybe dual screens, because this thing, it doesn't hit as hard as you expect it to. I think this team is pretty weak to knockoff. Not only are there two not fully evolved mons on this team who really don't want to lose their Eviolites, the rest of the team can be a bit item reliant. Like Miltank isn't going to want to lose its leftovers. Slowking, if it's wearing an assault vest, it's not going to want to lose that. Choice items on some other Pokemon. Sylveon's not going to want to lose its leftovers. I think knockoff is a big weakness for this team. So, threat alert on this team, I definitely think Landorus T and Mega Mawile hit very hard. But what does this team get 6-0'd by? I think that this team gets destroyed by any competitive mon. My favorite being Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff can hit a lot of this team for neutral, and if it's just getting boosted by special attack, you know, it's gonna 6-0 this team. So, that's intimidating. Next team. Liverpool Littens. I'm gonna talk about the threat alert up front here. The threat alert is Melmetal. Are you kidding me? Okay. But not just that, it has Melmetal with a fairly good Trick Room setter in Celebi. I guess Gengar can also set Trick Room, but it's pretty fast and pretty frail. I don't know if that would be a good Trick Room setter, but that's also an option. Drampa is also on this team, and this thing can very easily work under Trick Room too, hitting on the other side, hitting on the special side. Now, let's talk about some things that start to go wrong on this team. So, I see double weather. You have sandstorm and you have hail. And your speed boosting ability mon is Poliwrath with Swift Swim. Yeah. I can see why Poliwrath is on this team. It's a fairly good fighting type now that it has access to these new moves. Like Close Combat, for example. Pretty good. I can see why it's here. But I think there can be just something different with this team. Also, something that kind of confuses me is Talonflame. This is a great mon for sweepers, stopping them by getting a priority Brave Bird off. But on a team with Hail and a team with Sandstorm that's going to chip it down from full, I don't like that. Yeah, so I think this team could be really good. I think it could be a really good sand team if you make some changes on it. Threat alert, yeah, you know what the threat alert is. What does this team get 6-0'd by? This team gets 6-0'd by Slurpuff. If it gets a belly drum off, I'm not even joking about this one. It just 6-0's this entire team. Now, what do I give this as a grade? I give it a B. Basically because of Melmetal. That thing is a monster. Moving on. Next team. Miami Heatran. Did I forget the name? Okay, this name. I named this team again with the good mons on the wrong team. change some of the mons on this team, and it'll be great. Here, Miami Heatran. I named this team Puke Emoji. This team disgusts me. What do I see on this team? I see a Tier 2 Superior, Zygarde 50%, Tangrowth, and Heatran. And that's not even mentioning Mega Scizor. Mega Scizor and Comfey, they get some powerful priority hits off. Comfey needs some turns to set up, but man, this team is nasty. It also has some great hazard control with Xatu, with Magic Bounce, and Mantine. Both are very good heavy-duty boots users. Mantine is so specially defensive, it can get Volt switched on, and it won't even do like 50%. I think this team has a bunch of great options to it. Love this team. Threat Alert. The entire team is the Threat Alert. 6-0'd. This team is pretty ice weak, so I would say it gets 6-0'd by a well-played Pillow-Swine. Grade A+. Next team. The Brooklyn Blastoise. I've named this team, do you really need that much recovery? Let me start off by saying that there's some really good rapid spin hazard removal on this team. You really need to keep hazards off your side to keep Mega Beedrill coming in. You want it to come in and click U-turn multiple times. Clefable is a great wish passer on this team, but the whole team just has some really good recovery options. But the things that don't have good recovery options on them, like Regice, can really benefit from some wish passing. But in general, Teleport just seems really, really good on this team to get into some really threatening Pokemon. A good use of Teleport would be to, teleport into Lycanroc on something that's weak to rock, so you can set up a Swords Dance, or same thing with Salamence, same thing with Klinklang. Really good setup mons. You can bring him in with Teleport. I really like Clefable on this team. I think it's a bit overkill with all the recovery. But anyway, Threat Alert on this team. Mega Beedrill plus Clefable. Great pairing right there. This team, what is it 6-0'd by? Because there's no Dark type, it's kind of weak to some Psychic spam. So, what's a Psychic Pokemon? What's a special attacking Psychic Pokemon that also gets Shadow Ball to hit Starmie? That's right, Mega Metagross. This team gets 6-0'd by Mega Metagross, so keep an eye out for that one. I give this team a grade of A. Next team, the Salt Lake Swarm. My name for this team are these pivots. Okay. Again, just like the last team, there's a really great variety of types, and this time there's an actual fighting Dark Psychic core. There's some really great bulk on this team while still having some very offensive options. Pop some heavy-duty boots onto Rotom or Tornadus, and they're going to be really great defoggers. Rotom does get some access to recovery with Pain Split, but Torn is just such a good mon to come in and defog, because you just U-turn out and you regenerate all that health back. And if you put heavy duty boots on it, You regenerate the whole thing. You don't even take 25% when you come in. So, Shaman is a great bulky grass support for this team. I really like that addition. And Licky Licky is really good for wish passing with that thick 110 HP. I think this is a really, really great balanced team. Threat Alert here, Tornadus Therian, and Primarina. They can do massive damage to your team. I didn't even mention all the pivots other than the name, but you know, you got U-turn on Tornadus, flip turn on Primarina, you got parting shot on Persian, volt switch on Heatran. You got a lot of options here, okay? But what does this team get 6-0'd by? This team is a bit let's just explain this with a set. Let's say that you're facing a Drillbur. Drillbur comes at you. It's got the set Earthquake, it's got Aerial Ace, it's got Rock Slide. Only other thing it needs, Hydro Pump. That set, I'm the only good Drillbur set if you're asking me. That set 6-0's this team. Be careful of Hydro Pump Drillbur. Grade A+. Love this team. Next team. This team, the Lake City Linoons. I've named this team, Don't Let This Team Set Up. Aegislash is really scary behind a Veil. Mega Gallade is really scary behind a Veil. And Vanillix can set up Veil. So there you go. There's a really interesting speed tier range from 111 all the way down to 40. So you can play really fast offensive or slow Trick Room using Jellicent as your Trick Room setter. You have some really good defog on Honchkrow and Galarian Weezing, and because you have multiple flying types, that allows you to bring Weezing to a game without Levitate. You can bring in Neutralizing Gas, which is sometimes really good for, you know, some team that you're facing. Maybe you want to bring it in on a Guts Pokemon, maybe you want to bring it in on Superior so that it drops 2 special attack instead of raises 2 special attack. Maybe you want to Neutralizing Gas someone's speed boosting ability. Super cool mon. I'd like to see that thing used. Threat Alert, like I said, Aegislash and Mega Gallade. I do think that this team is missing some crucial types though. I think it's missing a Dragon type and a Grass type, which I think would really benefit this team overall. This team is 6-0'd by something who can hit it with water, because the only thing that resists water on this team is Jellicent. And you know what hits Jellicent super effectively? Jellicent. Jellicent 6-0's this team. You know, just bring it in, throw off a Scald, throw off a Hex, and you 6-0 this whole team. I give this team a B+. Next team. This team is called the Pip Fan Club. I've named this team Best Fairy Dragon Steel. This is a beautifully drafted team. Let me just scroll down and take a look at this. Take a look at this. There you go. It has every single core, every single hazard, every single removal. It has a spin blocker, ground type, grounded poison, really great cleric moves. all these momentum moves are here just because of Smeargle, but it also has some good momentum besides Smeargle. Scrolling back up. This has a really good Fire, Water, Grass core, even if the Fire Pokemon is a bit slow. It has a really good Fighting Dark Psychic core. Really nothing to complain about there. Technically, there's a Fairy Dragon Steel core, but is Kartana really a Steel type? Like, yeah, it's a good offensive Steel type, but you don't want to be using Kartana defensively. Maybe. I mean, you can use it as a physically defensive something. But I'm just going to tell you what your Fairy Dragon Steel core is right here. Mega Garchomp, Togekiss, Mew. That's your Fairy Dragon Steel core. That is the best Fairy Dragon Steel core here. Really, really great. And I really, really like the fact that Smeargle can set up webs for this team. You have some really great abusers of webs. You can have Kartana. You can EV Kartana so that it boosts attack every turn, and still have it outspeed things with webs. Mega Garchomp really needs webs up in order to outspeed things. Overall, really, really threatening team. Threat Alert, Mega Garchomp, Kartana, and I didn't even talk about Suicune. Suicune is a pain to deal with. Put that on the Threat Alert list. What is this team 6-0'd by? Colossal. Yeah, this team does not deal well with Rock Stab and Fire Stab combined. Don't worry about Suicune. Suicune only makes Colossal stronger. What do I give this as a grade? I give it an A+. Best Fairy Dragon Steel. Alright, and now I think this is the last team. The Guyana Gudras. I named this team I Hate Boltund. I hate that mon. Dumb mon. But this looks like a team I would draft. Florges is a great fairy in the draft meta, and it works really well on this team paired with a lot of these hard-hitting setup mons. The only hazards that are missing from this team are sticky webs, but this team is pretty fast, and it doesn't miss not having sticky webs. Most of these setup mons are fast enough to outspeed taunts, so they can set up before something can taunt them. It has really, really great priority options. It has priority on Lopunny, Bisharp, Dragonite, Metagross. Problem on this team, Boltund is an ugly Pokemon. Yeah, it works okay on this team. Okay, yeah, it works pretty well on this team. It's a good electric type and it's fast. But it's ugly and you should drop it. Stupid Pokemon. Threat Alert again. Basically this whole team. And what does it get 6-0'd by? What is it gonna be? Is that you again? Yeah. This team gets 6-0'd by Piloswine. You have 4 ground weak and no ground resists. The only Pokemon that are immune to ground are weak to ice. So Piloswine 6-0's this team. I give this team a grade A. So where does that leave us? Now I'm going to rank all the teams 1 to 9, 1 being the best. First place comes Miami Heatran. Second place, Salt Lake City Swarm. Third place, Pip Fan Club. Fourth place, PogChamp Pupitars. Fifth place, Guyana Gudras. Sixth place, the Brooklyn Blastoise. Seventh place, Lake City Linoon. 8th place is the Liverpool Littons, and 9th place is the Satch Superior. Alright, there's the power rankings.